Welcome to our broadcast of this homily for the second Sunday of Lent. The Lord be with you and with your spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus took with him Peter and John and James and went up to the mountain to pray. As they prayed, the aspect of his face was changed, and his clothing became brilliant as lightning. Suddenly there were two men talking with him. They were Moses and Elijah, appearing in glory, and they were speaking of his passing, which he was to accomplish in Jerusalem. Peter and his companions were heavy with sleep, but they kept awake and saw his glory and the two men standing with him. As they were leaving him, Peter said to Jesus, "Master, it is wonderful for us to be here. So let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He did not know what he was saying. As he spoke, a cloud covered him with shadow, and when they went into the cloud, the disciples were afraid. And a voice came from the cloud saying, "This is my Son, the chosen one. Listen to him." And after the voice had spoken, Jesus was found alone. The disciples kept silence and, at the time, told no one what they had seen. The Gospel of the Lord. Good morning, everyone. It's interesting to note that the Gospel readings on the first 2 Sundays of Lent are identical across the 3-year cycle of the liturgical year, whereas the following Sundays, they differ entirely until Palm Sunday. It is as if the first Sunday, with its Gospel about the temptation of Christ in the desert, the Church asks us to focus on our human condition with its temptations and failings, and the need we have to do battle with them if we want to live up to the dignity we've been created with. By contrast, this Sunday's Gospel focuses very much on the dignity. By contrast, this Sunday's Gospel focuses on that very dignity in the Transfiguration, with the assurance that it will be ours when our battle with these temptations and failings is done. That the Transfiguration happened on a mountaintop is no surprise. There's something about a mountain. A mountain gives a wider view and an overall view. It helps to see the pattern of things and puts things in perspective. It also raises our spirits, for here we are in the presence of great majesty and beauty. We feel close to God, in the presence of God even. On Mount Tabor, the sky was bright. Jesus was praying, and as he prayed, his face shone and his clothes became as white as snow. On one side, the figure of Moses appeared, the great lawgiver. On the other, Elijah, the greatest of the prophets. They spoke with him about his passing that he was to accomplish in Jerusalem. And as they spoke, a luminous cloud overshadowed them, symbolizing the presence of God. And out of the cloud, the Father's voice was heard, speaking those wonderful words, "This is my Son, the chosen one. Listen to him." It brought Peter to cry out, "It is wonderful for us to be here. If you wish, I will make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." Peter wanted to stay on that mountain. He wanted to build a safe haven from away from all the danger and trouble in the world at large. But the purpose of this experience was not to encourage escape. The purpose was to comfort and strengthen Jesus and the apostles so they would be able to go back and face the mess and dangers that they had left behind. And they needed that strength, for there would come another day not long after, and another hill. This time the sky was dark. The face of Jesus was covered with sweat and blood. His clothes would not dazzle. They'd be taken from him. For companions, he would have 2 criminals. There would be no voice from heaven, only the voices of scoffers and mockers. The disciples were shattered and would want no part of what was happening. The only thing in common would be that Jesus would once again be praying. For from this it's clear that what sustained him in bright and dark moments alike was his special relationship with his Father. Hopefully, all of us have some experience of Mount Tabor, the hill of joy and exaltation. But we are probably more familiar with Mount Calvary. What happens is that we tend to go from one to another. On Tabor, we've glimpsed the beauty of heaven, encouraged and elated, we have thought, it's wonderful for us to be here. Then we've been plunged into the sorrow of Calvary. And on Calvary, by the grace of God, we can learn to say, your will be done. The vision of the Transfiguration is given to us to sustain us through Lent and the events of Holy Week, so that at Easter we may rise with Christ, renewed and refocused on the things that truly matter. May this season safely draw you heavenwards.